If you're B2B, your marketing success hinges on your ability to create and promote high quality content. This is by no means an oversimplification. Content is literally everything. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the ultimate marketing strategy for B2B business and show you how you can implement it in your business for more website traffic, inquiries, and sales.
Content marketing is all about creating valuable information for your target audience. It's a strategy that understands that B2B purchases are not made on a whim. They're made from a position of trust. That's why content marketing looks to get the attention of your market, position you as the trusted expert, and ultimately provide you with a stream of new business customers. It's an effective strategy for B2C, but it's especially good for B2B due to the nature of how these services are delivered. Higher value contracts delivered over longer periods of time require more trust before a commitment is made. It also brings everything together. You're no longer thinking, okay, this quarter we'll try SEO, later this year we'll try LinkedIn lead ads. Good search performance and lead generation are byproducts of good content marketing. Why focus on one when you can have both? Just to be clear, content marketing is not bombarding people with sales pitches. It's the anti-sell, the invisible sales machine. It looks to connect with your ideal customer and provide them with value. Instead of pitching your B2B business services, you're providing relevant and useful information to help solve their problems. Let's look at it another way. In some ways, marketing is much like dating. There are a series of steps and events that must take place in order for a relationship to develop and get more serious. Business is much the same. However, most businesses are out there asking people to marry them on the first date. If you've ever attended a business networking event, I doubt you ever tried to sell someone the first time you met. No, you'd chat, you'd exchange cards, send a follow-up email, another meeting, and then, once a relationship of trust was in place, you might show them your capability statement or a case study from a successful project. The point is, there was a right time and place for each step of the journey. It's a nurturing process, a sequence. You build credibility, establish yourself as an authority on your subject. Once they know, like, and trust you, and they're a good fit for your offer, you're ready to close a deal. Content marketing is very similar. The difference is it uses content and technology to implement this technique at scale. No longer one-to-one, but one-to-many. No longer constrained by your time, content marketing works for you while you're asleep. Let's get something straight. The one thing you absolutely do not want to do is create content for the sake of creating content. In fact, this is the biggest mistake we see a lot of businesses make. The problem with this is there's no strategy behind it. The content leads to dead ends and little thought has been given to what happens next. There's also no way to measure its success, so you never really know if the time and resources invested in your content production are worth it. Producing content without purpose is just a waste of time and resources, and if you're doing this, you should stop immediately. You see, there's a big difference between content and strategic content. A big difference. Strategic content starts with the end goal in mind. That means if the end goal is new business customers, we need to work backwards from this goal and determine what steps a prospect needs to go through to get to this point, and then build a bridge for them to get there. So how do you take someone from "who are you" to buyer and raving fan? Imagine your ideal customer is on one side of a giant canyon. You're on the other side with a remedy to their problem, but there's a catch. There's no bridge, no way for them to get to you. In fact, the canyon is so big they can't even see you yet. Content marketing is what we use to build a bridge for the prospect to walk across. The first thing we need to do is get their attention. To do this, you really need to have a deep understanding of your market and who your ideal customer is. You need to know what their needs, wants, and desires are. More than this, you need to understand what their big problems are, what challenges they face, and what they fear. A good way to do this is list out your market's problems, roadblocks, and questions. From here, you can create content that targets these pain points. The key here is to deliver value. You're not trying to pitch your product or service, not yet. The prospect's never met you before. What you are trying to do is provide useful information that will give your audience a new way to think about their problem or a new way to navigate a roadblock they've been facing. The goal here is not acquisition. The goal is awareness, website traffic, and to position yourself as the trusted expert. Now that we have their attention, we want them to reach out their hand so we can guide them across the bridge. That's why the aim of the second step in B2B content marketing is all about lead generation. We want to capture the prospect's details so we can nurture them and continue to build trust. The underlying principle that will move your market to a place of buy-in is belief. Belief that they can get results and belief that you can help them do it. So how do we get the prospect's details? Earlier, we spoke about creating strategic content that doesn't have dead ends. A good way to do this is by providing your prospect with a hyper-specific next step offer. For example, you're in a corporate finance space and you've produced a detailed piece of content for company owners looking to sell their business. A good next step offer would be an evaluation tool that would let them work out how much their company might be worth. They enter their details into a form, the prospect gets the tool delivered via email, and a corporate finance company gets a lead they can nurture. The final stage of this journey is about getting your prospect to take action. They've crossed the bridge and we now want them to make the decision to become a customer. Content marketing plays an important role here. At this stage, you can concentrate on sales. Just make sure to keep your message focused on how you can help your prospect rather than all about you. Talk about the benefits of your service rather than the features. Case studies are really effective. For example, how we helped company X achieve Y. Video sales letters, service videos, and webinars are also great content pieces for acquisition. In this final section of the video, we're going to be looking at how you can create a B2B content marketing strategy for your business. Really, there are three critical elements you need to cover. These are content strategy, content production, and content promotion. Not to be confused with tactics, your content strategy will be your roadmap to follow. Your starting point is your audience. You need to have a deep understanding of your customers' problems and how your service solves them. You need to create content pillars based on your customers' pain points. Content pillars serve as a guide for every piece of content you create and should be mapped back to specific steps in your customer's journey. Research your competitors, benchmarking current performance versus the top competition in your vertical. This will provide you with guidance on the digital platforms your customers are using and the types of content you need to be focusing on. With the strategy in place, it's time to focus on content production. From our experience partnering with B2B companies, we find this to be one of the areas where campaigns can fall flat. Getting content created consistently without sacrificing quality is a huge challenge. Aside from the time investment required to produce high quality content, the other stumbling block we often come across is businesses not knowing where to start or what to write. That's why we've created something to help. It's called the 1-year B2B content plan. You'll be able to use the framework in the template to map out 12 months worth of strategic content and website pages that will help drive more traffic, leads, and sales for your business. More on this a little later. Every piece of content you produce needs to be promoted. If you miss this step, then your content is just words floating on a page. We operate a pretty traditional approach to content promotion and would recommend you do the same. This framework is owned, earned, and paid media. Owned channels include email list, social media channels, and communities. Earned channels are things like search, mentions, shares, and reviews. Paid channels include Google Ads, LinkedIn, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, plus retargeting on all of these ad platforms. Over time, the goal is to move prospects from paid and earned to owned channels. That way, we can communicate with them for free. Before we sign off, here's a pitfall you must avoid: being boring. The most valuable currency online, if not the world, is attention. It's never been easier to reach your dream prospects, but it's never been harder to get, keep, and leverage their attention. People live boring lives, constantly scrolling through LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. They're wanting to be entertained and inspired. To capture their attention, you need to stand out, not blend in. Excite them, thrill them, hit their curiosity button, connect with them on an emotional level. You want to leave your prospect and customers wanting more. Content marketing is hard. We know because it took us years of trial and error to figure out the winning formula for B2B business. It's not enough just to create one blog post or video each month. You need a plan to attract prospects, nurture them, and turn them into paying customers. The problem is often knowing where to start. The 12-month content plan is a solution. To all of this expert framework will allow you to map out an entire year's worth of strategic content and website pages that will help drive more traffic, leads, and sales for your business.